Hello folks, Typhoon Carter here, and I bring to you DPP Revival Ubers Open. Today we have a doubleheader. This is round 6 action, winner's bracket side. Our first series here is between FC and Hiro. FC, you might know him as that guy in that one Shaman Sky Healing Wish gif that you may or may not have seen where, healing wishes and then almost his entire team gets killed. But, contrary to that gif, he's actually a pretty good player, one of the best Ubers players on the site, and somebody who's played in Smogan Tour playoffs before, and in SPL as well, so he's not just like a one-trick, very good player. And then here on the other side, somebody who's played Ubers for a long time, great guy. So yeah, I'm interested to see how this plays out. So, we got Dialga into a Deoxys Speed lead, so Deoxys Speed probably just gonna get some hazards up. Dialga probably gonna, try to attack this thing, break its sash. No, instead opts for T-Wave, interesting. Deoxys sometimes will actually taunt there, so that worked out for Hiro a little bit. But FC probably just gonna look to get some damage off, or another layer up. Superpower's there, Superpower on Deoxys Speed, usually for Tyranitar. And Dialga going to Fire Blast here, doesn't want to get Draco drop. The reason Hiro was doing this is so that you don't get exploited like that. And that looked like he low rolled there, so he might need a max roll. But the Deoxys Speed is going to get max value out of it, gets every layer up. Now, I wonder if Hiro has something else in the back. He Draco'd there because of PP, so he doesn't really want... Yeah, so that Fire Blast miss was quite crucial, and you really see how pressure makes PP just amplified a ton. And Latios is gonna probably threaten to KO here against this Groudon. Dialga's gonna be a switch in here. Again, FC probably running a Deoxys hyper offense of sorts, and then Dialga's gonna go down. So that was probably offensive Dialga, mixed Dialga or something, I'm not sure. Mewtwo's gonna be the follow-up here. And Mewtwo probably going to get a Calm Mind off. Or it's all-out attacking Mewtwo. Either one is plausible. And Dialga probably gonna get taken out by this unless this happens to be Custap. And FC's swapping out there, trying to scout the Custap. Instead of meet a T-Wave in front of a Groudon, so that kind of works out there. But Hiro probably just gotta look to get some damage off on this Groudon. And we'll get exactly that, and it is a double dance Groudon. Usually this is EQ plus Dragon Claw. Yeah, Dragon Claw's there, doesn't want to take any risk, but if Hiro has a Giratina Origin in the back, that will probably come out. Instead, Deoxys attack is shown on Hiro's end, and it'll probably extreme speed. Usually it carries Life Orb. And FC reads this, going to go into Giratina. Going to eat that up, going to threaten the KO with Shadow Sneak, so Giratina Origin looks incredibly threatening here. Hiro probably doesn't have a better switch in for this Giratina, or doesn't want to risk unnecessary chip damage for a time being. Latios not gonna be quite KO'd here at this range, but Groudon is going to be used as a sack piece. Instead, Hiro reads this, going to get a recover off, so that's going to be tremendous here. Hidden Power's there, that might be Hidden Power Fire. Some Latios do run that for stuff like Scizor and Fori. And Mewtwo is going to come in here, going to probably get a Calm Mind off. And it will probably survive this if this is max HP. Yep, does exactly that. And now the Mewtwo's going to be able to recover. And Hiro's in a lot of trouble now, so you better have a Scarfer. Metagross works too. Metagross seems like a bit out of place here, but it's actually not. It's a very viable Pokemon. As a steal, because you check Jirachi, you can kind of check some variants of Dialga, so that's why you see it sometimes. And got agility here, probably got Friend and Explosion, but got EQ here as a mid ground, because that's a little, committing to a boom can be very risky, especially when Giratina is in the back. But FC not gonna be able to make that read, and Giratina is going to be able to come right back into a game. And Groudon is the follow-up on Hiro's end, which makes sense for FC because Giratina actually covers the Latios entry as well. And Giratina gonna go down, so you really see the power of spikes really kicking in. And the last is Mew. Mew, not something you see a whole lot here. Usually it's running Baton Pass, and then, oh yeah, there's the SD. That Shadow Sneak might be a roll. Nope, going to FC, looks like he's gonna get that roll. And now it comes down to the Latios. And Latios has to be careful here because of Shadow Sneak. Yeah, Shadow Sneak doing over half there. And Hiro's hand is somewhat forced here, as Mewtwo is going to net a very easy KO here, especially with that Latios down to 30%. And pressure too being a factor, so that means that it can't quite spam attacks like that. But FC is going to secure this game 1, and he is going to be up 1-0. So a bit of an interesting team from Hiro. Back Mew, so double psych, or sorry, actually it's quad psychic, which is actually interesting. Despite, you know, because unlike an OU, you know, like, all of these directly threaten Tyranitar in some way, shape, or form, where that's superpower from Deoxys. Even Latios does a significant amount of damage to Groudon, especially with Sodu being basically steroids, for lack of a better word. You got Metagross, and then you got Mew. Yeah, so interesting stuff from Hiro. That Fire Blast miss earlier kind of forced his hand a little bit. Because at the very least, if you, let's say he gets the roll, what happens is that he doesn't immediately run off Fire Blast. So that's kind of the other underrated aspect about Deoxys speed as a lead, is especially when you factor in Ubers in general, where most Pokemon are just running a lot of 8 PP moves, like, you know, like pressure, you notice it fast, and you see here like just how few attacks are fired off in like 26 turns of action. And good stuff from FC being able to kind of put that pressure on, getting max mileage out of that Deoxys speed. But we still have a game 2 to watch. So here we are with game 2. Let's see how this plays out. Deoxys attack into a DOS. Usually what happens here is that DOS can probably just get layers up, and then Deoxys attack is just got FC's got to try to fish where confused there. Probably was got E-speed. Can't get spikes up, so great read by Hiro there, but Deoxys speed is going to go down, only going to get 1 layer of spikes up, and Deoxys attack still has the sash intact. Oh, that was a mouthful, but Sub Giratina here, oh, that's going to be quite annoying for FC. And Magnezone is shown. Magnezone, not the most common pick in Ubers, but it's a very viable pick, because one, like Bronzong being so common means that you can get a lot of work done on this poke. And nice Mirror Coat there from Hiro. So yeah, sometimes some Dialgas run Earth Power, but not all do. Hiro was probably not expecting that perhaps, but good on him to recognize that. Again, Magnezone, not something you see a whole lot, but it did get a ton of mileage there. Getting rid of Dialga is huge, because for some teams, Dialga is just extremely hard to break. Grass Knot's there, so Hiro's bringing 4 attacks Mewtwo here. Probably Fire Blast, Grass Knot, Ice Beam, and then Self-Destruct. That's, yeah, a lot of Mewtwo's usually run Self-Destruct here. Bronzong gonna get rocks up, and again, it's lefties, so no crazy nonsense going on here. Grass Knot's going to take care of the job here, but Deoxys attack is going to be very annoying if FC opts to bring that in. Not going to do that because kind of frail, and can get hit with a Water Spout, so Hiro probably doesn't have anything better to immediately take that on, and was probably looking to get Explosion off perhaps. And Palkia is going to come in here and going to threaten a Draco here, and oh, nice Dragon Pulse there from Hiro. And now this Kyogre going to once again be able to threaten an Ice Beam, since we know it's Scarf Ogre. And not gonna quite kill, but Dragon Pulse gonna do 36%. Not exactly a joke by any stretch of the imagination. And Hiro probably has a Groudon in the back, maybe like Double Dance Groudon. That's something I could totally see working. Oh, there is the Groudon indeed. And FC probably has to have something else that can deal with this, and Groudon going to EQ there because Hiro knows that Deoxys attack can pick it off. But oh no, it's just gonna end itself right there and then with Life Orb recoil. So that might have been a roll, might have not been. Mix Ray is going to come in here, going to threaten a Draco perhaps. And Dragon Claws here instead. FC might lose this, or at least there's a real chance that might happen. But FC could E-Speed crit there and then win the game. And oh, going to land Thunder there. So FC's going to win this game and this series 2-0. You might be, if you're sitting here wondering why would he go for a 50% Thunder in the Sun. I guess something to clear up is that one, airlock does actually work. It's just that it doesn't display that airlock is active, which is like a really weird quirk that we see in Gens 3 and 4. So that Thunder was not 50% accuracy, it was actually 70%. Although it was a bit of a ballsy play by FC to like just kind of rit. I guess Hiro. Oh, this might have been Scarf Ray was probably what's going on. So yeah, that's interesting because usually Scarf Ray should outspeed. Yeah, usually it's 475. Okay, so it's probably not. Okay, my guess is if he has extreme speed, which evidently does not look to be the case, then what probably happened is that it's probably SD, Dragon Claw, EQ, and then maybe something like Aqua Tail, or like, you know, or something like that. Actually, no, Aqua Tail. Well, yeah, you could get away with it because like it actually does not counteract with the Sun due to the way airlock is displayed. So yeah, kind of a weird quirk there. But go on FC there. But Hiro's gonna be sent down to losers bracket. And that being said, though, we still have a second series to cover. So this is our second series of the video. We have Strange Name going by 21st Century Schizzleman versus Elodin. So a strange name. I covered him in a previous video. Very strong player. Elodin, you might know him. He's played in Classic Playoffs, played in our Invitational Tournament, and he's put together a real nice run for himself. Just somebody very good at Pokemon in general, but this should be an exciting matchup. Neither player at risk of being eliminated, as again, this is a winner's bracket matchup. Let's jump right in. So we got Kyogre into a Ho-Oh lead. Elodin either probably does not want to stay in there. Latias going to eat this Water Spout up, and oh, huge crit there. That is most definitely Specs Kyogre. That is quite unfortunate for Elodin. Yeah, that's probably one of the better answers to lead Specs Ogre. Water Spout there, yeah, look at that. Even in the Sun, cutting its power in half, you see that base 150 kicking in overtime. And kind of a strange pivot from Elodin. I would have just gone Groudon and then went into Dialga. Yeah, I don't think he needed to take that unnecessary chip damage there, but Dialga will be able to get rocks up at the very least. And Dialga, oh no, it's bulk up Dialga, so it's probably bulk up Rest Talk. And if you're Strange Name, probably want to roar this out ASAP. And oh, huge crit there. That is quite annoying for Strange Name, but 72%. Yeah, so that's double the crit damage. That might have been a roll. And gotta be able to roar it out, so able to at least get the Dialga from being an immediate threat to the rest of his team. But Jirachi is going to be a headache here. Iron Head's there, so Dialga is going to go down. And again, Strange Name probably has something to follow up with this. And a Spec Surf will still do a significant amount of damage. And go punch right through that. No Iron Head hacks going on today. And Dialga is going to once again be able to get a bulk up off. And yeah, just got Surf here because, again, Specs, Kyogre's got hit like a truck. You notice Dialga's probably not max speed. If it's bulk up, it's usually like, you know, max HP, max Spadef. Protects here. So, oh, this might be sub bulk up Dialga, which is a set that I know Shrang loves a lot. And Surf's here going to do 39%, going to prevent a sub from going up at the very least. And Dragon Claw's here, but this Dialga is going to be potentially KO. Elodin's going to need to look for a double protect here. in order to survive this Kyogre, which has been a total headache for Elodin's team. Groudon's going to at least come in here. The Sun's going to at least cut down that power, but Groudon, that means that if Kyogre comes in at a later date, that means that Kyogre is going to be able to make Rain the permanent game state here. And if you're Strange Name here, you could attack here, and oh, it is Kabu Rain. So Kabutop's going to at least threaten a low kick here against this Dialga. Yeah, Dialga is going to go down there. That is no Life Orb Rico, so that's probably CB Kabutops, which is pretty common. And Crest is shown here, but Kyogre's going to come in. Rain is going to be the permanent weather for the rest of the game. Paralysis doesn't really matter too much for Strange Name, and Strange Name just able to get a ton of mileage out of that Kyogre in the early game, and Ice Beam just doing pathetic damage there. Even gets the full para, but Elodin's gonna have to overcome the late game Kabutops, not to mention that, you know, healing's gonna be cut down to 25% in the rain. And Ho-Oh's gonna lose one of its stab moves too, for that matter. Thunder's here gonna do 22%. And Elodin just trying to play for paralysis hacks, but I think Strange Name can safely go for all these Thunders. And yeah, like, you have 4 or 5 attempts here to try and get a paralysis onto Cresselia, because if you do that, it's like, you know, factor in rain boosted waterfalls from Kabutops and, you know, and whatnot, and then now you're in a fantastic position because Elodin can't even out heal that. And oh, huge crit there. Question is, how is Strange Name going to follow up? Because again, Cresselia is just very resilient, and Jirachi's going to be sent out here. Gonna go for Iron Head hacks here. And gonna get instantly paralyzed, so Elodin has a chance to actually steal this game, but it's a very uphill battle. Yeah, that Moonlight's not gonna do anything in the long term. And Elodin probably doesn't have Recover on Ho-Oh, because I feel like this would be a prime opportunity to look for that. Elodin, yeah, he's kind of forced to Moonlight at very early percentages just due to how Rain just cuts that out. Ho-Oh finally gonna show up here for Elodin. And Elodin probably gonna look to get a sub up if he has that with Ho-Oh. But Fori is going to enter into game there. Sacred Fire, so yeah, he was okay with sacrificing the Fori, but I think sub could have been a real headache. But instead, Kabutop's just going to get a waterfall off here, and all Strange Name has to really do, I think, is just simply trick with the Jirachi. And going to get the Thunder Wave off. And I think, I mean, yeah, the speed is extremely fast though, even with Rain. But yeah, Moonlight just not gonna do enough here. And at this point, like, Elodin just can't outlast this unless he gets multiple full paras. One more. Can he get the full para? No, he will not get it. Strange Name is going to take game 1. So Strange Name is going to be up 1-0. That lead Specs Kyogre just putting in overtime for a Strange Name here, as, you know, taking out that Latias was huge, because that means that the Latias can't fret. Because Latias can be pretty annoying, like, you know, if it rips a Thunder off, it could, like, you know, get some paralysis on Scarf Jirachi, for example, or deal significant chip damage to Dialga. Like, there's so many ways. And then being able to survive that initial onslaught of the bulk up Dialga, even with critical hits. Kind of a messy game, but good stuff from Strange Name being able to overcome that. Regardless though, we have a game 2 to cover. So, here's game 2. We got Deoxys Speed, so we got DOS Mirror here. You've seen this matchup play out a bazillion times here. And Taunts here. So, this might be... yeah, I mean, it could have been an actual speed tie. We don't know for sure. Looks like it was a real speed tie. And Stealth Rocks into Spikes. And Elodin not going for Dark Void because of Taunt being a factor there. And now Strange Name's going to go for it, try to limit the Darkrai from being able to do anything too crazy. This Darkrai could be Lum, could be Chople, don't know for sure. Scizor's going to force the issue here. And go ahead and get free U-turn off on this Darkrai that does not want to stick around and find out. Mewtwo is shown. Oh, this might be Walbray for strange name. So Walbray, and then usually it's Groudon last. That's kind of prototypical 6. Oh, nice Ice Beam there. And this Mewtwo is now going to threaten this Rayquaza. Now this Rayquaza could be Scarf, and it will actually live, and that is something that's kind of underrated about Mewtwo. It's just how bulky it is. Like, just being able to take a Draco Meteor from that range is something to behold. And Rayquaza is going to show up on Strange Name's end. Probably going to look to get an E-Speed there, get significant chip damage on this Darkrai. And Darkrai is going to be dead to Hazards next turn. If you're Elodin, you could look to try and get a Focus Blast off, try to force the issue, but gonna do exactly that, but Scissors go threaten the Bullet Punch here. And Dialga is going to be the answer to Sizz. This Dialga could be, you know, just mix Dialga or like bulk up rest Dialga. And there's the Groudon. This Groudon is usually Rock Polish free attacks. So Elodin's Giratina has already taken a little bit of chip there, so it's in a prime position to go off here. Gonna get roared out. Elodin knows that. Doesn't want to risk losing the game on the spot right there and then. This Rayquaza could wake up at any moment. But Wobbuffet, yep, there's the Wobbuffet. And I think that nickname, I think, is a reference to Journey to the West. It's been a hot minute, but Mirror Code's there. Instead, gonna get roared out. Yeah, a bit of a mind game there. I think if you're Strange Name, I probably would just on-court there. No reason not to. And Darkrai is gonna be sacked here. And Dialga and Giratina will threaten this. And Strange Name knows that the sack was coming. Going to bring the Rayquaza in. Try to fish for an early wake up. Mewtwo is the last here. We don't know what this Mewtwo is. Could be Calm Mind for all I know, but Flamethrower is shown. This might be Flamethrower, Ice Beam. No, Life Orb is shown, so it's probably 4 attacks Mewtwo. And Wobbuffet is going to be shown here, and yep, Loading's got forced to self-destruct here. And the way this game can end, Giratina Origin is shown. Groudon is shown. Yeah, so what Strange Name's doing here in this end game is that he's gonna send Groudon out. What is likely gonna happen is he's probably gonna sacrifice the Scizor, try to bait out the Draco Meteor. But Elodin probably also recognizes this. If he has Roar on this Giratina, that can also happen too, where he could, you know, try to force the issue, try to like Thunder instead in 50% weather, or sorry, 50% accurate Thunder, which would be kind of yikes, but what else can you do? No, EQ's instead there, trying to catch the Sizz, but instead Groudon is going to get this KO, and this Groudon will most certainly take care of the Dialga since it's almost certainly faster. But we're going to see what happens here. Is it faster? Yes, it is. And Strange Name is going to secure this, and he is going to remain in winner's bracket, going to win this series 2-0. And Elodin's going to be sent down to losers. So, a bit of an interesting game there. Yeah, there were a couple ways that this game definitely could have swung. Although I think you could argue that, you know, Strange Name could have made things a little bit easier for himself, but that Mewtwo, that back Mewtwo in the end could have also been a real threat if, you know, Elodin was able to force the issue. But, you know, just things to consider, like if the Wobbuffet took even more unnecessary chip damage, then Mewtwo could potentially KO'd it and not been forced to explode. But, you know, like, it's just things to think about, and then, like, you know, what happens if Elodin wins the speed tie, like, if it was actually max speed, right? These are just things to think about, you know, watching this game and this series. Both series, I enjoyed watching, but regardless, though, if you guys enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, and consider donating to DPP Revival Ubers Open's prize pool, and I will see you guys next time.